Hey fam, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, recording something that I never ever thought I would be recording. Today we are here to talk about love after lockup, life after lockup. I don't know what it is. I don't understand how this is season 6, episode 11, even though this is a new season. I don't understand why after all these years WeTV has not fixed the way that this thing is generated, but here we are. I put out a short, and from that short, talking about one set of people from this group, several of you commented that you want me to review it. So it's not going to be a detail review like I normally do, but I'm going to try to make sure that I make mention of some things because I know some of you probably aren't going to watch the show. Some of you may just come here to support me. And there are some things that I want to talk about. I first off don't understand why they didn't continue following some of the other storylines. I don't think we met everyone this episode, but I feel like the way that this season began, because I recently just started with episode 1 to now, that there's so many other characters that I would love to see what transpired with them, but they weren't in this episode. So let's go ahead and get into it. Do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into this. Let me make myself down here because I'm not what's important at this time. Oh, well, we can't see his name, huh? There we go. So we start off with Michael and Justine. They are more crowded than ever. Now, I have not watched this show since after their first season. Think that's how long it's been. So there's a lot of things that I don't know. If there's something that I should know, please let me know down below. I'm just going off of the quick little recap that they gave us and then this. So, following her high risk pregnancy because she had babies back to back, she and Michael are now settling as parents of 9 kids. In their original appearance, I couldn't get with them the first time that they were on the show because I struggled with how much I felt like his biological kids were going to be neglected because his mom was helping to take care of them while he was living in her house. And I did not like that. But it seems like now all of their children are together under one roof. So I'm giving them a little bit of credit here. Over the years, I guess happiness has been good to Michael because Michael doesn't look as good to me as he used to look. It seems like his hair did something for him and that dad bod isn't really, doing right by him. But they have one kid in college, another one is going to soon be going to college, and then in 2 more years they're going to have 2 more going to college. So right now their focus is to make sure that they get some extra income going in for all these kids. They got married several years ago outside of the jail. I think it's been 3. And now he wants to give her a real wedding. He asks her how much she spend. She says on the low end 60,000 because she wants a traditional wedding with henna and elephants and all that other stuff. It's Thanksgiving. Michael's barber comes over at the end of the dinner. They go and talk, and we find out he wants to add yet another business to his portfolio because he wants to have a barbershop that is half barbershop, half beauty shop. Like you got stylists with the salon and things of that nature in there. Wouldn't be the first time it's done. There's one a couple miles away from me, but he wants this thing, I guess, and he thinks it's going to be a big deal because he promised his barber that he would put in 100K on the business. Like, are we going to have a bar in there? Is this a chain? I don't understand why it's so much money. I think that Michael is so accustomed to hustling that sometimes he doesn't really think about his hustles because whatever happened to the shoes that he was doing and what happened to his rap career, like what are we doing? Not that he should be rapping. Let me make that clear. I'm just saying, what happened to those things? So We go from them to Keith and Letitia. Is she Letitia or is she Letitia? I don't know. All I do know is it's very much so giving scammer vibes. I have been seeing clips of this woman and her so-called tax business, accountant business, whatever business she has, and her being kicked out of houses and whatever else. And I just feel like poor Keith is coming into a situation that seems like it's gonna be bad because she's a hot behind mess. So he did an 11-year bid. I couldn't help but notice his locks. Who in the world was doing his locks? Because he came out of prison looking like he had a stylist in there that was doing his retwist every couple weeks. Like his locks look nice, very well maintained. So they've been together for 4 years. They've been married for 2 of those years. It's his release day and she's going to get him. This lady seems is alleged to be a scammer. And she kind of skimmed over the fact that she got hit with a theft charge. And apparently she got arrested the other day again because there's a new mugshot of her out there now. And she's sitting here with all of this going on and she's still spending money that she doesn't have. Why would she think that it's a good idea to not only do that, but to do it on camera? Like, this girl is not that bright. Or maybe she's so accustomed to scamming people and getting away with it that she thinks that she's going to be able to continue to do it. But I don't think that this is going to be a good look for her. I think that she's going to end up doing some time, and he's going to be the one that's on the outs, being married to Lockup. So she decides that she's not just going to go and pick him up, but she's going to pick him up in style. So she shows up at the bus stop in a stretch limo, you guys, with a black trench coat on and some pink lingerie. She sees him as she comes out. She's doing all this fake crying and sound effects with no tears while he goes to change into his clothes that she bought him. Girl, please. He's really in for a rude awakening. Y'all tell me what you think. So he has to tell her that they cannot ride to the halfway house in that limo because it's not a good look. His PO didn't approve of that, and it's already taken a lot for him to get out in the first place. Did he have more time over his head than 11 years? If y'all know, put me down below. Put it in the comment section down below. So they have just enough time to get it in, to consummate their marriage, and then hop on the bus for a 24-hour ride to the halfway house where he has to be by the next day at, like, I think he said like 12 something. So we go from that to Courtney and Will. Y'all. Will and Courtney. Let's talk about these two really quickly. So Will and Courtney met on a prison pen pal site. They communicated for less than a year. Now he flies out to see her. She gets out. They get married on the second day that she is out of prison. The point of them getting married, well, one reason so soon is because he had hope that he would be able to get married to her so that she could be paroled, I think it is, in his area, or on probation in his area. I don't know which one of the P's in his area. So they get married, they consummate, they have a lot of fun. He's getting ready to return home to Sacramento. But right before he's supposed to go, he feels like something's off with her because when she's on the phone with him, she's slurring her words and sounding extra tired and stuff. So he confronts her about it and she gets a whole attitude about it. And the way that she acted about it when he confronted her, I knew then that there had to be some truth to it. So we flash forward now to 6 weeks later. She's been out for 6 weeks. Her mom hasn't heard from her. He hasn't heard from her. They're calling one another to figure out what's going on. And then he goes out to hang out with a friend to talk about all the stuff that's going on when she just so happens to call him and let him know that she hasn't spoken to him because she's been locked up. because they came in because she was staying in a halfway house, and they did a search. And upon doing that search, they found that she had, you know what, GHB in the halfway house. As a result of that, she gets arrested. Will is pissed, and he has a right to be. She's talking on the phone. "Oh, I'm sorry. I messed up. I didn't want to do it." Giving a sob story. When really what it is she called because she wants some money, honey, because she wants to ask him if he can make sure that he puts her allowance on the books. The man, I can't remember if he was giving her $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month. Might have been like a month, because I don't see him having all. She didn't really need more than $1,000 because she was staying in a halfway house, but whatever. So she wanted to ask him if he could put her allowance on the books. Y'all, how much money was it? I can't remember. He don't want to do it. And I don't blame him, because it's obvious she's been lying. She would stay right in there without the extra funds. I don't know what Courtney or Will were thinking. It's clear to me that neither one of them thought this out, because just because you have good chemistry doesn't mean that you should get married. And I think that when he decided to marry her, she thought that that meant that he was going to take care of her. After all, she did tell him prior to coming out that she had a whole bunch of different men taking care of her and giving her money. So, hello, Will, she's expecting the same from you, especially if she dropped the other ones. So, they're arguing back and forth, and she doesn't want him to rub it in and kind of chastise her. She wants him to be there for better or worse, because she would do that for him. Girl, the other day, you were just taking off your ring and giving it back to him. So I don't think you would be there regardless, but that's your story and she's going to stick to it. So she wants him to pick her up when she gets out. She's really asking for a lot, but she probably wants him to do that because the halfway house is probably not going to take her back. You can't violate like that and then think that that bed that somebody else may actually utilize for good is going to be sitting there waiting for you to come back whenever you please. It's not a hotel. It's a place for you to get on your feet so that you can come back into society and do well for yourself. The best line of this episode was when he said to her, "Eat that jail food and wait your ass out." That thing tickled me. When I say it tickled me because he said it so harshly, like, "It is what it is, girl, figure it out." So we go from that to Bianca and Daniel. Now, I don't know a whole bunch about them because when I started watching this season 6, they weren't in the beginning part of it. They just popped up nowhere out of nowhere after they came back in August, right? So he's been out for 6 months. He is currently working as someone who moves furniture. He is trying to get back on his feet. He now is driving and has a car. And in that car, he has a breathalyzer. If you've ever, because my ex at one point had one of those in his car. And when I say that thing is extremely sensitive, like you cannot even use Listerine because it picks up the alcohol that's in there. So the fact that he has that in there shows how serious whatever he did was, which I think I saw something about a DUI as well as a burglary. Um it looks like Bianca thought that when he came out that Daniel would pop the question. Instead, what he did was he spent $90 for her and gave her a promise ring. So they have now moved in together. We find out that at some point she was involved in a car accident. I think she said it's been like a year, or was it a year? It took her a year to recover. So it's been like a year. And in that accident, she didn't know. I don't know how true this is. She didn't know that her friend was drunk. And she got in the car, and her friend ended up smashing into a concrete wall, and she sustained some injuries from that. From that, she got a significant amount of money. And Daniel says she's blowing it. She's not working, but she's blowing that money. Daniel is supposed to be sober. He's been sober for 5 years. Bianca at some point was drinking around him and his family had a problem with it. She since has stopped, she says, for him, but he has actually relapsed and she doesn't know. Something happened. He was at the airport with his cousin and he ordered some shots. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to talk about based on the way that they are with each other and how she's out there with her friend doing wedding dress shopping and all that other stuff. I think they're on completely different pages and I don't think that they are going to last. Eh. Oh, I did a horrible job with this graphic. I need to fix it. My bad. So we got these two, Brooke and JK. If you saw my short, you know some of my feelings. But these two nuts are the reason why I am reviewing this show. Brooke and JK first crossed paths when she was 13. They lost touch. They reconnected about 3 years ago while he was in prison. One of his cousins ended up reaching out to her. He dated her and he dated this other girl named Alex. At some point, he broke up with Brooke, got with Alex, then he broke up with Alex, got back with Brooke. He broke up with Alex only because she cheated on him. To me, he seems to care more about Alex than he does Brooke. I don't like the way that he talks to Brooke. I don't like how quickly he calls Brooke a itch whenever she gets him mad or stupid or whatever. He demeans her. He has some issues. He thinks like he's the best thing since, I don't know, sliced bread, and he's really not. So he's back with Brooke. He's been out for a month and he is on house arrest. He has to be home at his house by a certain time. He can't go out but for so long, all these other things. And knowing this chick Brooke is trying to get pregnant by him. She's trying to give him his boy, even though she doesn't trust him. She has two boys already by two different men who are not involved in her boys' lives. Keep that in mind. She has two boys, but she is at JK's mama's house because he doesn't have his own house, sleeping on his mama's living room floor with her legs in the air, trying to make sure that his seed doesn't fall out of her, making all types of noises to the point where the mother doesn't even feel comfortable in her own house. And she spends most of her time in her room when she's there because they've taken over her living room. Where is the self-respect? Where is the care for your kids? Because you're running behind this man while you have two kids at home that your mother is watching, and those two kids need you. But you want to run behind this bum. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a job. He's thinking that he could become a truck driver, drive locally and drop stuff off and then come back and be able to be home for his kid if he has one. He's over there shopping around looking at $25,000 trucks that he doesn't have any money for, but for whatever reason, he thinks that he's going to be able to get financing for, even though he's been locked up all this time. I think he said 7 years, and he doesn't even have a job. We later find out that Brooke doesn't have a job either, because this foolish woman got upset when she was at her job and she looked at her phone and she saw his location because she tracks him and saw that he was at his ex-girlfriend Alex's house. And rather than just waiting it out and talking to him after she got off the job, because she kept calling him and he didn't answer, she proceeds to walk out of her job to go and find him. So she goes, he thinks she's leaving the mama's house to go to work and pick up her boys, meaning she ain't spend the night at her house with her boys. And where she goes instead is to the best friend Bonnie's job. Now, Bonnie is currently living with her, and Bonnie has multiple jobs. I don't understand what's going on, but it seems like, there's a lot of poverty in their area. So she tells his best friend that she needs to be a girl's girl and not tell him this, but she has something to tell her. So she lets Bonnie know that that day when she walked out, she got fired. But don't tell JK because he's going to kill me. The moment, the moment that she left the restaurant, Bonnie couldn't wait to send that text to let JK know that they need to talk. Because Bonnie's about to tell it. All right. So we go from there to these people. Lord, Lord, Lord. Now, I didn't think that this thing could get any worse than Brooke and JK until I think she pronounces her name as Kiana, and he calls himself, I don't know, Demadric. I don't know how to say his name. I want to call him Rick. So these two, first of all, it's not these two. It's these three. These two and these two. He has kids with her. He's with her. All right, y'all following me? Okay. I don't understand what those two women see in this man. He is community peen. He is for the streets. He has been out for 4 months and has caused more confusion in 4 months than some people caused in 4 years. Apparently, Kiana at some point, well, she likes to say she had him first because she dated him in high school. He cheated on her with his son's moms, and they were together, and then they went back and forth. It's a lot of back and forth between them. On the website, it says he has 5 kids. Up here, she's saying he has 6. Either way, he has a whole bunch of kids, and she wants this man. Apparently, she got upset about some text messages that she saw between him and his son's mom, and she decided not only to kick him out, but to release some of the images that she saw in his phone of her. Is it Joella? Of her in her lingerie. She put them out on Facebook. We're going to get to it. I personally think that Kiana is doing too much. I don't understand why these women have more smoke for the women than they do the men. She doesn't owe you anything. The man that you want to claim, the man that you said you gave all this money to while he was locked up and all that other stuff, he's the one who owes you something. So she kicked him to the curb for what? All of 5 seconds, because it's been 4 months since his release and she already taken him back. Now he is full of crap. I personally feel like he likes to hear himself talk. He keeps acting like he's made some changes, but he clearly hasn't. And Kiana is acting like she's made changes, but she clearly hasn't. Because not only is she taking him back, but she's letting him move back in. You need to have that man stay at his daddy's house because he can. My thing is this. I think that both of these women take him in whenever he wants to come in because the both of them are so desperate to have him. And I don't know why, because this is the most decent he looked. Majority of the time, his lips look crusty. It looks like he needs to borrow some chapstick. Like, I don't understand the draw to him. I don't. I also always look at guys after a certain age when you have these type of braids. I'm looking at you like you're a little crazy. Like, lock it up or cut it off. That's just my personal opinion, though. Just me. So he's not just moving in with her, but he's moving in with her 2 kids. I didn't even know that this lady had kids. Now, I saw a little car seat in the back like a booster, but I didn't think anything of it. Because the whole entire time last season when she was on, her children were at her G-Paw's house, her stepfather's house, so that this man could get adjusted to being free. Excuse you. Why are all of these women on this show? Well, I can't say all. I'll say that she is, and I'll say that Ashley is. Why are y'all putting these men, no, because others have done it before too, before your freaking kids? How do you ship your kids off to their grandfather's house so you can move in some man and let him get adjusted? What? So now I'm really side eyeing her. It's bad enough she's a supposed hairstylist and her lace looks jacked up as ever, and you can always see the glue and the wigs look tired when she's a supposed hairstylist. I don't really feel like she's a hairstylist. I mean, I haven't really seen her do any hair. Somebody was one of the people at one point was talking about some make sure you pay your booth rent or whatever. But the only thing I saw her do was assist that lady retwist somebody's hair. Most of the time she's sweeping. So is she really a hairstylist? I mean, I know some hairstylists had time to do everybody else's hair but their own. But girl, like there's a guy in there that been laying down all types of wigs. Go see him. Anyway, so Joella is still in the picture. Her. And Dominique is still playing games. Now, I personally think that he's still having relations with her because every time we see him go over the house to see his kids, I don't really see him spending a lot of time with his kids. I see him go in a room, say whatever to them real quick. They may come out and they get sent back to the room. Like most of the time when he's over there, he's talking to her. I think that they're still having relations. I think that she's playing her role because she enjoys the toxicity just as much as he does. So she says that he don't want Kiana, but he don't want neither one of them. So he goes over to her house at the guise of talking about their son's upcoming birthday. He says that he wants his girlfriend to be there. She says that Kiana's kids are more than welcome to come, but she cannot. I don't blame her. When he came back out of jail and he invited her, Joella, to his father's house for his celebratory thing and to also invited the kids. Kiana made such a big scene about them being cordial with one another, him hugging her and them talking for a brief moment in time, and didn't feel like she should be there. Then you went and you released pictures of her in her lingerie for all to see on Facebook. And you think she's supposed to be okay with you being around her kids in that type of setting? If you want to throw him a party or if you want to be at a party for him, throw him one. So he's laughing as she's showing him the picture that she released of her in her lingerie on Facebook. And I personally think it's not funny. And then he flips it and tries to make it seem like it's her fault when truly it's his fault because he keeps going back and forth between these women, telling them different things, lying. If I was Joella, I'm gonna be honest, I would have went and I would have got Kiana together. We're gonna do one of two things. Either I'm gonna report you to the police or you're gonna let me beat you up. Which one do you want? And I think she would choose me beating her up because I would have to tear her up. You don't do stuff like that. That's too much. Joella, girl, you better than me. Because Kiana would have heard my mouth and I would have been around there to go see her. So she points out like Kiana is wrong for what she did. And he laughing about it. But he doesn't, if the roles were reversed, he wouldn't stick up for her. She says, Kiana's so busy focusing on the pictures that I sent and what I said, but she's not looking at the things he said, which we saw some of those things in the text messages where he was talking about missing that and enjoying her and how wet it gets and all those other things. But you ready to come after the woman and not the man. So she said at this point, she ready to put it all out on the table while he's threatening her not to come over to his house or do anything. Sir, if you really want to make this thing go right, go pick up your kids and take them wherever you're going to take them. You don't have to see them at her house. You guys can come up with a meeting spot for you to get your kids. You can go over there and watch them, because I think at one point he said he was watching them when she went to work. You can watch them at her house. Better yet, pick them up and take them to your dad's house so they can play with their grandpa and you watch them. Knock two things out. But to keep going back and forth, ain't no way. There's no way. Anyways, that's what I got for this show. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, look, don't hold me to having it right out after the show, especially with me going out of town this weekend. I'll try to have the another episode up within the next few days. No guarantees though, because I still gotta to record my regular schedule stuff. But we'll see how this does. Do me a favor, hit the like button so I can get in some type of algorithm. Until next time.